Before you scroll, let me ask you something. Do you actually know what Lebanon is? Because everything you think you know is probably wrong. I don't know what you think Lebanon is. Maybe it's just a headline for you, a place of conflict, something distant. Or maybe it's the place you think of when you sit down in your city for great Middle Eastern food. You think shawarma, hummus, tabbouleh, falafel, and you're right. Lebanese cuisine is one of the richest, healthiest, most celebrated in the world. But Lebanon is more than its food, and it certainly is more than the images, the financial chaos, the headlines that Western media has conditioned you to associate with. So let me ask you again, do you actually know what Lebanon is? Because Lebanon is not what you've been shown. Lebanon is not just a country. Lebanon is civilization itself. Did you know that out of the world's oldest continuously inhabited cities, 4 are in Lebanon? Byblos, over 7,000 years. Sidon, over 6,000 years. Tyre, over 4,000 years. And Beirut, ancient Berytus, alive across millennia. 4 cities, 1 country. That is civilization concentrated. Did you know that the people of this land, the Phoenicians, were the greatest sailors of the ancient world? They didn't just live by the sea, they mastered it. They built ships, they mapped the Mediterranean, they connected civilizations. They created one of the first global trading networks in human history. And what did they give the world? The alphabet, the very system of writing that became Latin, English. You are reading Lebanon right now. Did you know that from the shores of Tyre came something so rare that it became the color of kings? Tyrian purple dye. And from cities like Sidon and Tripoli came something just as foundational, soap. Daily life, trade, civilization. Lebanon shaped that too. Did you know that Lebanon is written into the Bible itself? The cedars of Lebanon mentioned over 70 times. Tyre and Sidon throughout Scripture. Tyre is where one of Christ's first miracles was performed on a Gentile. And just above Sidon, in Magdushe, tradition holds that Mary waited for Jesus as he preached in Tyre and Sidon. And this land is the land of ancient Canaan. And in Canaan, Jesus Christ performed his first miracle where he turned water into wine. This is not near biblical history. This is within it. Did you know that Lebanon is one of the oldest continuous Christian civilizations on earth? Over 1,500 churches and monasteries littered across this tiny country of barely 10,500 kilometers squared. Nearly 2,000 years of uninterrupted Christian presence. Even today, Christians make up roughly 30 to 40% of the indigenous local population, the highest concentration anywhere in the Middle East or the Arab world, from North Africa to the Gulf. Christianity here is not history, it is lived reality. Lebanon's population identifies with 18 religious denominations. 12 of them are Christian. No other country in the region comes close. Did you know that when the Roman Empire wanted to demonstrate its power beyond Rome, it chose Lebanon? It chose Baalbek. That's where they constructed the largest temple ever built in the Roman Empire, widely considered the greatest Roman monument ever constructed outside Rome. But what makes Baalbek truly astonishing are its stones, massive boulders, some weighing close to 1,000 tons, cut, transported, and placed with precision that even today, engineers are baffled to explain. This isn't just architecture. This is an ancient engineering wonder. And then there is its land. Lebanon is the only country in the Middle East and in the entire Arab world with no desert. Think about that. No desert. Instead, Lebanon is contrast. snow-covered mountains above the sea, peaks in winter white and silent, and below them a coastline alive with light. A place where within an hour you can ski in the snow and swim in the Mediterranean. A place where seasons are real. Winter brings snow. Spring brings green valleys. Summer brings the sea. And autumn brings gold across the mountains. Lebanon is not one landscape. It is 4 seasons compressed into one country. And the Lebanese? There are more Lebanese outside Lebanon than inside it. Brazil, 7 to 10 million. The US, over 1 million. Canada, France, the UK, Australia, Africa, millions more. Lebanon is not just a country. It is a global people. From Khalil Gibran to Fayrouz to Ralph Nader, Shakira, Hollywood's Salma Hayek and Tony Shalhoub, legendary White House correspondent Helen Thomas, Carlos Slim, Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary, and even George Clooney, who, by way of his beautiful, brilliant wife, my fellow Druze Lebanese compatriot Amal, we've taken a bit of pity on and adopted as Lebanese. To my American friends, I lived among you. I studied on one of your most prestigious campuses. I walked your streets, and I traveled your country and took it in all its vastness and beauty, from Hawaii, your islands of spirit and wonder, to Oregon, your quiet forests and open skies, to Washington State, your rain, your mountains, your calm, to California, your energy, your ambition, your dreams, to Virginia, your origins, your foundation, to Washington, D.C., your history and the weight of your ideals, to New York, your pulse, your diversity, your relentless drive, and to Florida, your warmth, your light, your sense of life. I saw your country. I felt it. I loved it. And I still do. So very much. 30 years later. And I still remember not just what I learned, but who I met. The friends who made my years so memorable and fun. And my professors, the 2 of which who shaped me, were, believe it or not, Jewish Americans. I hold them all so dear in my heart. So understand this. I am speaking to you as someone who knows you, because your country, to us, has always meant something. America it's the place where people stood up so others of gender and color could be free. It's the place where injustice is challenged, not ignored. The place where voices rise, even against power. The place where truth is debated, not dictated. You taught the world that. You taught us that. And that is why this moment matters. Because today, Lebanon, this ancient land, this biblical land, this Christian land, this civilizational land, is once again under threat, under attack. Not in theory, not in abstraction, but in real daily life. With missile strikes, with fighter jets overhead, with the use of white phosphorus, an incendiary chemical weapon that causes severe burns and sets farmland and livelihoods on fire. A weapon whose use, according to international norms, is considered incompatible with the laws of law, with the laws of war, when used against civilians. And the human cost? 1,000 Lebanese civilians killed in just 2 weeks. Entire communities of the south uprooted. 1 million people displaced. Families living in cars, in temporary shelters, in makeshift tent encampments. And even those places meant to offer security have not been spared from the missile strikes. Children, the elderly, 1 million civilians displaced. 1/4 of Lebanon's indigenous population forced to abandon land they have lived on for centuries and centuries, since ancient times. Just imagine 1/4 of Americans suddenly forced to leave their homes within a single week. Entire populations from the southern states relocating up north. Over 80 million people on the move at once. And that doesn't even begin to capture the social and economic pressure this creates. To my American friends, my throat is in knots. My heart is in pieces, seeing the images coming out every single day. I wake up dreading to open my phone, dreading to open social media, because I know what I will see. And I know that if you saw it too, if you truly saw it, you would not accept it. You are not a people who look away. You are not a people who stay silent in the face of suffering. So I'm asking you, not as a commentator, but as someone who has lived among you, who has walked your country, who loves your people, please do not stay silent now. Look, the images are there. They are circulating right now on X. Look them up while you still can. Because once you see them, you will understand. And once you understand, you won't be able to unsee them. Don't stay silent, because you have never stayed silent. Not when it mattered most. Not in the moment that defined you. You didn't stay silent when people marched for civil rights. You didn't stay silent when injustice was challenged in your streets. You didn't stay silent when voices rose against war. This isn't who you are. Speak up. Call your representatives. Tell them clearly you will not accept your tax dollars to be sent abroad and used by states carrying out these attacks. Your weapons, your country's name being used to destroy a country that belongs not just to the Lebanese, but to the world, to history, to faith, to civilization. A country that gave humanity its alphabet. A country written into the Bible. A country that carried Christianity for 2,000 years and still does to this day. And now that you know, what will you do?